Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to Tech It Out. This is episode 293, if you're keeping track. Hope you're all doing great as we head into May, my favorite month. I don't know, maybe it's because it's my birth month, but I hope all Tech It Out listeners out there are doing awesome wherever you're tuning into this show and however you're listening, whether it's your favorite local talk radio station or on a computer, a tablet, a smartphone, a smart speaker, or however else you like to hear podcasts. We have a great show planned for you this hour, kicking off with headphones.com, a popular digital magazine and store for all things headphones. We will then chat with celebrity chef Anna Olson about high-tech appliances in her partnership with LG, and we'll catch up with tech expert Carley Knobloch about spring tech for connected families. All of this and more on an all-new Tech It Out, powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. I'll tell you more about ASUS shortly, and they're going to be one of my guests next weekend, but let's officially kick off this week's show with our first interview. Want to feel overwhelmed? Shop for a pair of headphones. There are so many options out there, in-ear, on-ear, and over-ear, not to mention different kinds of noise cancellation. So many brands and price points and materials. There's wired and wireless options. You get the idea. Which is why I'm thrilled to have onto the show for the first time, Andrew Lissimore. He is CEO of headphones.com. So who better to turn to? Among other sections, this website has areas with buying guides, recommendations, the option to chat with their team, and more. Hey, Andrew, thanks for your time today.
Hey, Mark. Thanks very much for having me.
Sure. You're based in beautiful Vancouver, and you also have headquarters in Portland. Is that right?
That's correct.
Great. All right. So at a high level, please tell us about headphones.com. Is it a digital magazine or a store or both? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm on the website right now. Great looking site, by the way.
That's a really great question. And I think the easiest answer is both, but I'll have to explain why. We started headphones.com as enthusiasts first, and generally enthusiasts who were totally confused about the high-end audio world. I knew I really loved the stuff. Mm-hmm. And every time I heard a really great pair of speakers or headphones, I got this great emotional experience. And I thought, how do I get more into this? And the whole world of education around this space was so confusing. And so we thought when we started the store, the world doesn't really need another store, right? There's lots of places to buy this stuff. What we could really use is a place where we can learn about this stuff and kind of learn to navigate what was a really opaque world. And we then thought, hey, instead of paying Google and Facebook, because we're mostly online, a bunch of money to acquire customers constantly, why don't we focus solely on building trust with our audience? And just hope that if we do that, we just focus on trust. So not sales, really, just trust. And hope that people would choose to come and visit our store and then buy from us if we focus on trust. That turns out to have worked, and it feels really good. And I think we've built something really neat as a result.
Yeah, congrats. So again, just to be clear, it's sort of like a digital magazine where you're giving information, reviews, and recommendations and all that on headphones, a variety of them, not just high-end, right? But is that more your sweet spot? But it's kind of like the whole gamut, right?
It is. Yeah, with our information side or our magazine side, we cover things that we don't carry, and
I see.
Tell you the flaws in the things we do carry.
Okay.
So it's like really a trust and truth first orientation to make sure that we don't have our editorial side kind of dictated by the store side, because we are a store too.
Thanks for the clarification. And then, yes, you can buy much of what you read at headphones.com through headphones.com.
That's
very,
correct.
Very cool. Do you link to other stores or do you actually hold the inventory?
We hold the inventory. So we have a big warehouse. We think it's really important. So I've been through the experience of buying things online. And as soon as I click the buy button, I just can't wait to get the thing. So the fastest way that we could figure out how to fulfill orders was to hold a bunch of inventory and then ship things really quickly.
And you ship to the US and in Canada, elsewhere too?
Yeah, mostly the US and Canada, a little bit internationally, but not much.
Fair enough. I understand you have a very cool origin story, Andrew. You want to tell us about it?
Oh, yeah. This is pretty funny. So I was actually a software executive and I was really bored and I loved audio gear. So I kept buying kind of expensive audio gear. And my wife, Monica, who's a CFO, and she's an excellent decision maker.
So she had something to say about this.
She did. Yeah. She thought this audio buying habit was an irrational waste of money, to put it mildly. And she had a good point. Like I knew it was. But
until you hear the 50th anniversary of Dark Side of the Moon in headphones.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, she was impervious to all this stuff. In fact, she would buy, I don't think you can do this anymore, but she'd buy the standard definition version of an iTunes movie to save the dollar and put me through 2 hours of complete agony. Anyways, I had this crazy idea to solve this problem by starting a side project selling audio gear. And I thought, hey, if this business can just break even, then I can have all the audio gear and we'll have net zero financial impact. So Monica can't get super bad at me. And so I started this little website just selling stuff. And one day, actually, my brother came over and I showed him, proudly showed him his website. And he said, this is the ugliest website I've ever seen. And I said, okay, how about you, we were going to go play tennis. And I said, how about instead of playing tennis, you just come sit on the couch with me with your laptop and let's try to make this thing better. And that was 7 years ago. And we've worked together every day since.
And you locked in a killer URL, right? Headphones.com.
Yeah, and that was a bit of another story. So you can imagine we're two guys sitting on a couch in a condo. We're trying to get all the best brands in the world to allow us to sell their stuff. And so, a lot of them would receive our call or email and say, well, who are you guys? And then we'd try to explain who we are, what we're trying to build. And maybe they'd check on Google Maps that our head office was an apartment. Or, we just had all these problems with credibility at the beginning because we really were just two guys on a couch. So we made a list of ways that we could hack credibility potentially. And one of those was, hey, if we got the domain headphones.com, then these companies would have to say yes, right? And so that was one of
Did you have to take a mortgage out on your condo to buy that?
Thankfully, no, because as you know, based on my description of my wife, Monica, that would have been unlikely.
There you go.
No, what happened was the guy who owned the domain was actually a really nice British guy who was more of an entrepreneur than a domain guy.
Yeah, a hoarder.
Yeah, he wasn't that. And I think he really connected with our story. I think he loves audio gear too. And he was excited to see some young folks building a business. So we made a great deal. I think it turned out being a great deal for both of us. But importantly for us, we didn't have to come up with the money to buy it up front because we didn't have
great.
It.
Awesome. Before we talk about some trends in premium headphones, you might have already covered this a bit, Andrew. Tell us what separates headphones.com from other sites or retailers that specialize in audio, including your comprehensive return policy.
Yeah. So I'd say there's three key areas where we differentiate ourselves. One we've already talked about a little bit, and it's that we focus a lot on content and education. And we focus all that content and education on building trust. So I think that's a little bit different. The incentives in retail are pretty strong to say, hey, Ona, we've got 1,000 of these in the warehouse. Let's go put out, if you've got a big audience, let's go put out an article about how awesome they are. And we make sure that we don't do that. And that takes a lot of discipline to constantly kind of say no to the short-term incentive because we want to build something that's really valuable long-term, which is a great relationship with a big audience of people who are becoming more knowledgeable about audio. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, as a result of that, we have a lot of great full-time audio experts in-house, and they help us curate our selection. So I think what we've got is one of the best selections of high-end audio gear that would be really hard to find anywhere else. And it's carefully curated. And I think a lot of people don't have the time to do as much work. I mean, this is their full-time job, is to evaluate these things. And so they're doing all that work on behalf of the people that are coming to shop on the store, which I think is a huge benefit. Then third is what you mentioned at the beginning. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but we have 365-day returns.
Jeez, that's like Costco, man.
I know.
That's like very liberal return policy there.
It's pretty crazy, but we thought, if we can make this happen, even though it's really expensive to do, we thought if we can make it happen, it's just like kind of a utopian ideal for a headphone store or an audio store. We thought when we started this thing, what are the things we'd love to see in an audio store? And that was certainly one of them. And so we thought, hey, if this is even remotely financially possible and operationally possible, we should do it because it would be so cool, because audio is such a personal thing, and if you buy a pair of headphones and you spend a lot of money on it for you, I think it's really nice to be able to take it home and spend some time with it, see how it fits, see how it sounds, make sure you really truly do love it. And then not having a ticking clock over your head while you're doing that, so you can relax and and think, after 3 months, you know what, I actually don't enjoy this as much as I thought. And I think it actually created a really neat incentive for us to make sure that our customers are getting the best possible headphone, because we know that if we sell someone something they don't want, it's going to come back eventually. It's created a virtuous cycle for us. It does work. It is really expensive, but I kind of chalk up the cost of doing that as a marketing cost.
Yeah, and hopefully not too many people take advantage of that, or at least the full year.
Yeah, I mean, we don't love return on day 364. That's not why the policy's there, but of course we get some. I think the trick, and we've done a lot of how we built the store. We've built it around people who, our best customers. We kind of think about, hey, what are the best customers deserve in terms of policies and the kind of experience, and to kind of treat the outliers as outliers instead of having to build all of our policies for the lowest common denominator, like a lot of big companies just kind of end up having to do. We're like, yeah, you know what, we'd rather not do that. Let's think of who our best customers are and treat them really incredibly well.
We're going to continue chatting with Andrew Lissimore from headphones.com when we return, including some of his picks for premium headphones and wireless earbuds, what to look for when you're shopping for a pair of those. This program is powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info on their laptops and desktops, accessories. They've got mobile gear and much more. asus.com/US/radio. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We're chatting with Andrew Lissimore. He's CEO of headphones.com, both a digital magazine and a storefront to buying headphones of all shapes and sizes and brands. Speaking of which, what are some of the big trends when it comes to premium headphones?
Yeah, actually, there's a really significant one this year. And I think it's finally the first time that we've had wireless noise canceling headphones on the market that I can proudly recommend to people, even people who are audiophiles. And that's just happened within the last, say, 6 months or so. There's 3 different pairs that have been released that I'm actually using now. And often they're replacing my wired headphones that have a huge amplifier. So
before you mention the brands, and feel free to plug them, the fact that they're wireless is what's new. I mean, we've had active noise cancellation, wired headphones for a while, but the quality is finally getting up to your standards, being wireless ANC or active noise cancellation.
Yeah, exactly. So up until now, I don't want to take anything away from companies like Bose and Sony and Apple, who have released really incredible products in the wireless noise canceling space. But they've kind of lacked in terms of the audio quality. That's the area that's kind of been sacrificed for more of a trade-off, mass market product. And now we've finally got a democratization of the underlying technologies. So the chipsets and the noise canceling technology is being made available to more high-end audio companies who already have the audio DNA and they've got that side figured out. And now they're adding the technology. So I'll talk about the 3 that I'm referring to, 3 pairs. One is a French company called Focal, which are famous for making incredible loudspeakers, and broke into the headphone world in 2017 with 2 of the best headphones in the world, but they're really expensive.
Yeah, well, let's not get into the pricing today, but they could check it. They could check it out at headphones.com if our listeners are interested.
They can. Yeah, they're a little wild, but what they did is came out with a headphone called the Focal Batisse. It's spelled Bathys. They're French, so a lot of us thought it was Bathies before we found out how to say it properly. But the Focal Batisse is a beautiful, incredibly crafted wireless noise canceling headphone that's using Focal's drivers that they put in their high-end stuff and all their driver technology. And the drivers are made in France. So they're really incredible. They're the first wireless headphone I put on and thought, oh my goodness, like I don't need to travel with a bunch of wired audio stuff anymore. I can travel with these, which I've been doing lately. Now, the other 2 honorable mentions, one is from Bowers & Wilkins. It's called the PX8.
Yeah, another European company, right? BW is from the UK.
Exactly. And then the third is from Mark Levinson, who's famous for doing the audio systems in Lexus. And they have the 5909. They're not creatively named 5909.
And these are not in-ear headphones. These are over-the-ear or on-ear,
No,
correct?
All 3 are over-the-ear. In-ear-wise, you're still really well served with Apple's AirPods Pro.
Yeah,
or if you're
agreed.
in the end. Yeah. Or if you're in the Android ecosystem, the Galaxy Buds Pro are actually really good on both sides. So, I think for all the trade-offs and convenience, those are two really good products.
Before we wrap up, and speaking of in-ear headphones, wireless earbuds are very popular today, probably one of the most sought after accessories for a smartphone, probably also because the headphone jack is gone. Any tips on what to look for?
For sure. Well, I think that's a good segue from how I ended my last statement about wireless noise canceling headphones. I think when you're looking for in-ear headphones, everyone's ear is actually different. And that's something that's kind of lost, I think, in all the marketing around this. So these companies are trying to make in-ear headphones that fit the majority of people, but getting the right fit is going to hugely impact the audio experience.
Sure.
when you're buying and listening to in-ear headphones. You kind of lose the bass response, for example, if you don't have a good fit. So I'd make sure that you feel like you're getting a good seal with your in-ear headphones, and you actually don't, if you already have a pair, you don't need to replace them with ones that fit better. There's a good chance you can find a better tip.
Right.
Most of them have removable tips, and you can go on Amazon or anywhere really and buy new tips and try them out. They're pretty cheap, and they'll probably make the biggest impact on the sound quality.
I have a little Ziploc bag in my drawer in my home office with a bunch of different tips, either from headphones that are like higher end ones that I've been reviewing over the years and they send extra tips, or believe it or not, even your local dollar store may have some silicone tips that, forget the earbuds, but the tips are silicone and they're probably just fine if they can snap onto your higher end earbuds.
What amazes me is that these are, they're a very cost-effective intervention that can have such an enormous difference. So it's really worth doing. It's more the time and effort, and I think people don't really know what's going to fit well. So you do have to experiment. Buy a sampling of different tips and try them all out and see how things sound and feel.
All right, Andrew. And then how do our listeners get going? Simply visit headphones.com. It's not an app, right? Let's just be clear. It's a website. Digital magazine.
It is not an app. Yeah, that's right. So go straight to headphones.com or search for the Headphone Show on YouTube if you want to get started there. And if anyone wants to connect with me, it's Andrew Lissimore on Twitter is the best place to reach me.
All right. I'll follow you there. Amazing. Andrew, thanks so much for chatting with us today. I've learned a lot, and I think our listeners have as well. All the best. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mark.
Hey, if you are on social media, I always love hearing from Tech It Out listeners. I'll spell my name in a moment, but I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. It's Mark Saltzman, MarkSaltzman. So it's Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. I write a tech tip of the day. I link to my articles and reviews on places like usatoday.com and Costco Connection Magazine, AARP, Reader's Digest, and so on. I link to videos that I host, radio and podcast interviews like the ones you've heard this hour, and so on and so forth. So would love to hear from you, what you think of Tech It Out. If you have any tech questions, maybe you've got some suggestions for upcoming guests or topics, I'm all ears. Again, I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. When we return on Tech It Out, we're going to talk with celebrity chef Anna Olson about high-tech appliances for the kitchen, refrigerators, cooktops, dishwashers, and an app that ties it all together. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. What a thrill to have back onto the show celebrity chef Anna Olson, of course, author of several cookbooks, a TV star, and with a huge following on social media as well. In her partnership with LG, last time we talked about entertaining ahead of the holidays and how tech and innovation in the kitchen can help. And now we're going to pick up where we last left off to talk high-tech appliances and how AI, or artificial intelligence, may also help to be your virtual sous chef, if you will. Hi, Anna. Great to chat with you again.
Thanks for having me back, Mark. And I love that analogy of using technology and innovation as your sous chef in the kitchen.
Hey, all I can remember from our last talk, by the way, in November, was being hungry after our interview, because I think you talked about your salted toffee and spice blondies. Good Lord.
Yes.
And I know that recipe, by the way, is at LG's website for those who are interested. Okay, so Anna, I am excited to have you back on and discuss the latest that LG's home appliances have to offer and your ongoing partnership with LG. So why don't we start there?
Perfect. Well, what I love about my partnership with LG is that LG is constantly innovating and bringing us the latest in technology so that we can grow with the technology and integrate it seamlessly into our everyday life. It's all about making things simpler and easier so we can truly get in the zone. And for me, the zone is the kitchen. So we're talking about ranges, refrigerators, dishwashers, cleaning up is part of it. And it also speaks to getting into the laundry. That is part of cleaning up too, especially after a busy day in the kitchen.
And I do agree with you, Anna, that the best technology is invisible. It just does its thing. It enhances and enriches whatever you're into. We're chatting about spending time in the kitchen, and I'm glad you like my virtual sous chef analogy. So I understand LG has some new additions to their home appliance lineup. Can you give us a general sense of what those additions bring to the table, the kitchen table?
I love that. You're full of fun little puns and analogies today, Mark. So let's start right off with refrigerators. LG has a new counter depth max refrigerator. And what's amazing about it is it offers 26 cubic feet of space, which is a lot more space than a conventional counter depth refrigerator. Now that summer's approaching, we're going to pack our fridge with lots more fresh produce, fresh ingredients. The Counter Depth Max still has the InstaView door. We love a sleek design, and this one is even more sleek, easy to operate. And in addition to the increased space, the InstaView door and door fridge, you've also got, of course, the craft ice. You've got regular cubed ice. And when you're thinking about cooling down those drinks in the summertime, you've also got a crushed ice option. So there's just so much ease. Also, we've got the LG induction slide-in range, the induction being the new feature. Yes, it still has the air fry setting, the pro-bake convection, the air sous vide setting on the oven, but it's the induction technology on the cooktop portion that is easy to operate, super safe. What I love is the quick response. You put your pot on the induction burner, turn it on. The first time I used induction heat, I was actually boiling water to make a pot of iced tea. And I put the pot on to boil, and I didn't even get to getting my tea bags and the pitcher ready, and it was already boiling. It's that quick.
Yeah, my brother-in-law has induction technology. It's really cool.
What I love about it is the clean as you go option. Because there is no thermal heat, you can lift a pot. Say you're cooking something that can always get messy, like bacon. You can lift your pan with a wet cloth, wipe down the burner, put the pan back on the heat, and it picks up right where you left off.
Yeah, it's not like those electric elements that you have to, wait till they cool down. Then you may have to even pull it out of the cooktop in order to clean around it and things like that. So this is great. And then I just want to go back to something you talked about earlier with the refrigerators. You said this also has the InstaView feature. So I just want to explain that to our listeners who aren't familiar with it. This is where you knock twice on the glass outside of your fridge in order to see inside. It turns on the light. So a very smart, convenient feature. Not to mention it doesn't let out the cold, to just open the door to see what's in there to eat, right? So that's handy. And then the craft ice. So I love the crushed ice as well as regular cubes, but craft ice are those large spheres, which are really fancy when you're having like cocktails with your friends this summer, like an old fashioned.
Classic cocktails.
Can you elaborate a bit more on that counter depth design?
Well, a counter depth fridge is a fridge that the front door is flush with your kitchen counter, which is not terribly deep. What LG has done that's so innovative is actually made more space within that counter depth fridge, 25% more refrigerator space than a standard counter depth fridge, but yet you're not eating up more space in your kitchen.
So a counter depth fridge is usually shallower than other kinds of fridges. So it matches the depth of your cabinets and countertops. But what LG has done is you're not sacrificing space now.
Yes. If you have a smaller kitchen, you shouldn't sacrifice innovation and technology simply because you have smaller space.
And then you talk to us about what's new with the ovens. So that's both the air fry and air sous vide mode. So both ends of the spectrum, I guess, Anna. Air fry is high heat. Air sous vide is a slow cook in those vacuum sealed bags, right?
What I love about air sous vide is there's the sort of restaurant style sous vide cooking vacuum pressure bag, which allows you to keep in flavor and really temperature control your foods. But I love it also for slow cooked items. I count on it. Being a baker, I use it for slow cooking meringues so that I can dry them out, crisp them up beautifully, and they'll never turn brown because there's a sealing cap to the temperature when you're cooking in that super low air sous vide.
There you go, making me hungry again. That's a good tip. Expect nothing less when chatting with celebrity chef Anna Olson, who's joining us on the program, author of several cookbooks, a TV star, of course, and a huge following on social media, especially Instagram.
Yeah, I'm getting up there. Yeah.
Good for you. Awesome.
And I've just joined TikTok. That's the new.
Oh, there you go.
I know.
Awesome. So you also mentioned that once we have to clean up, it's inevitable after cooking. Mm-hmm. We've got that dishwasher there. Is there anything innovative there?
Well, what I love about LG's Quad Wash Pro dishwasher is it has a 1 hour wash and dry cycle. So it's energy efficient. It gives you sanitized dishes. Just to share an anecdotal point, I have a brand new cookbook that has just come out. It's called Baking Wisdom. And when I'm developing recipes for that and new projects, I test my recipes all by myself in my kitchen. There's no team of people because I want to cook like a home cook. And so doing dishes is just part of it. I try and be efficient when I'm creating a recipe, not using too many bowls, whisks, pans. That said, the cleanup has to happen. And I love that I can pack the dishwasher. It has 3 different levels, an adjustable upper shelf. That means I can do a load that's full of full mixing bowls or pots and pans. And in an hour, it's cleared out and I'm then putting in my dishes to take care and get set for entertaining.
A few more minutes with celebrity chef Anna Olson when we return.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Check it out. Hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Just a minute or so left with celebrity chef Anna Olson. All right, Anna, before we let you go, let's chat AI or artificial intelligence. Certainly a buzzword today, but LG's been doing this for quite a while with its ThinkQ technology. Can you explain what this means for our listeners?
The ThinkQ app is something I use. So my mobile phone is connected to my refrigerator, dishwasher, and range. And you can also tie it into your laundry so that you can be sitting out on the back patio with your guests now that we can actually think about entertaining outside. I'm so excited. But then I can be doubling up. This is something I just did last weekend. I needed to increase my craft ice production in my refrigerator. And the same goes for your laundry. You can adjust, if we're having fun outside and I want to lower the oven temperature of things I have cooking in the oven because I want to spend more time with my guests outside, I can use that ThinkQ app and not even have to walk into the kitchen. So that truly is back to your point, Mark, you said at the beginning, that's the sous chef at work in the kitchen while I'm having fun outside.
And can you also use your voice with a smart speaker to give commands?
Oh, of course. Well, you have to be able to do that now.
Anna, thank you so much for your time. It's always a pleasure chatting with you. For the folks at home, where can we learn more about the latest innovations in LG's home appliances?
Well, it's really easy to remember. You go to lg.com.
All right, lg.com. And again, you should check out Anna's recipes as well, if your waistline can take it. Thank you so much, Anna. Great to chat with you once again. Appreciate your time.
Oh, thank you, Mark.
Busy families are relying on technology a lot these days. I'd argue more so than in years past as well. So for a few tips, we have connected mom and tech lifestyle expert Carley Knobloch here with us to share a handful of smart products to help us spring into the busy summer months. Hi, Carley. Good to hear your voice again. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you? And yeah, we've partnered with some great brands that hopefully will help us spring into the new season with some cool tech.
Awesome. All right. So with that in mind, why don't we kick things off with a couple of products that may help us build a better smart home?
Yeah, 2 products here. One, I would say, will appeal to so many parents whose priority really is a secure home, as well as a fun home. But I love really how Roku's smart home lineup can help you build a secure home. Like a lot of their other products, their TVs, their streaming players, it's all really affordable and simple to use. And they've got these great products like the outdoor camera that you can use to watch your kids playing in the yard, the video doorbell that shows you who's at the door from wherever you are and where where you can answer the door or not answer the door so that the kids can stay inside and be safe. And you can help the kids wind down for bedtime with their smart bulbs and light strips that really set the mood and help their little bodies figure out that it's time to go to sleep. And then plus you can monitor all their devices wherever you go with their mobile app. So it's really kind of a whole system that can help you just kind of have more peace of mind when you're not around and even when you are around to just keep the home safe.
So wait a second. Roku, the company best known for streaming media players like sticks and boxes and smart TVs, they have video doorbells and cameras and such now?
They do. And I think it makes a lot of sense. I think, all of these different companies are sort of fighting for share of your, home space, if you will. And so because Roku is already in the home with their streaming player, presumably they are really, well set up to create that as a hub for, a host of other smart home devices. So that's the deal.
That's awesome. All right. So that's from Roku. I know I cut you off. I think you want to chat networking next.
Absolutely. And you and I both know that nobody likes glitchy internet. And especially if you start adding a handful or two of smart home devices, you want to make sure everything is running smoothly. So to make sure that that is the case, the Eero 6 Plus is a whole home Wi-Fi system that's really fast, very secure, and it even has parental control features. And it's really easy for just about anyone to set up. And I swear, it really is. They've made these systems really, really simple. So the Eero 6 Plus comes in a 1, a 2, or a 3 pack, depending on the size of your home, to create the mesh system, which simply just means, you put these devices around your house, depending on how big your home is. And wherever you have kind of spotty internet, you can add another device and they all connect together to mean that you have great internet in every corner of your house. So whether you're in a Zoom meeting over here or streaming a movie over there or playing video games with your kids, like I used to love to do, I've got one graduating high school this year and one graduating college. So this is my last year with any child in the house, which is kind of crazy.
Congrats.
But no matter what you're doing, thank you. Mm-hmm. No matter what you're doing at home, you want to make sure the internet's strong in every corner. And that's what this system can do. And then also for younger kids, it's got, really great safety features that can give you peace of mind. And if you subscribe to the Eero Plus, you get even more advanced safety tools and content filters to keep kids safe online. So that's an extra add-on piece that's great if you've got little kids at home.
Awesome. Yeah, I know CNET's Rye Christ, a contributor there, wrote that the Eero 6 Plus, among all the mesh routers I've tested in my home, the Eero 6 Plus was a top 10 finisher in terms of average download speeds, while PC Magazine's John Delaney wrote that it performed, quote unquote, wonderfully in testing. So that's good to know with router node scores of 938 megabits per second, which is quite a bit. So that's great. So that's Eero 6 Plus. Before that, Roku Smart Home. We are chatting with tech lifestyle expert Carley Knobloch, about to be an empty nester. I can relate. My wife Kelly and I, we just finished our first school year of being empty nesters with 3 kids in college all the way. And you'll survive. You'll see. It's actually quite nice when they come home, especially.
That's wonderful. Congrats to you too.
Thank you. We're going to continue chatting with Carley Knobloch. When we return, we're going to head outside, talk about a high-tech grilling companion for those who love to barbecue, something for a swimming pool, and an app as well. You are listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. Be sure to drop by and say hi online. I'm on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and TikTok. It's Mark Saltzman, Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. We'll be right back with more Carley Knobloch when we return.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
Powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. You are listening to Tech It Out. We are chatting with connected mom and tech lifestyle expert Carley Knobloch about some high-tech ways to welcome in the spring. All right, so with the warmer weather here, what about gadgets we can use outdoors?
Yes. And I'm based in LA, so we cook outside all year round. I love grilling. I love cooking outside. And I also love the idea of getting good results every time, because the last thing you want to do is go to all the trouble to cook some fabulous steak or even burgers and dogs on the grill and end up overcooking them or burning them or anything like that. So the Weber Connect Smart Grilling Hub really makes those perfect results every time possible. It turns any grill into a smart grill. So you can spend time with your guests and knowing that you'll get an alert on your phone when your burgers are ready to flip or ready to eat. and you're never going to overcook them again. Plus, the app has all the great recipes and grilling tips that you would expect from Weber, which is obviously a legacy brand that knows barbecue. So I just love this because you don't have to hover and you don't really have to know a lot about cooking. Like, I've spent a lifetime figuring out what a steak looks like when it's ready to flip or when it's ready to eat, and how to know whether it's cooked all the way through. This takes the guesswork out of it, and you don't need to spend a lifetime like I have figuring it out. And you certainly don't need to hover and check because your phone is going to help you with that. So it's really tremendous.
As grill masters say, if you're looking, it ain't cooking. So you're supposed
right.
So you're supposed to keep the lid down. But with this device, it's obviously a wireless meat thermometer, a probe with sensors that will tell you when it's time to flip your meat and when it's done. Love it.
Yes.
So that's from Weber, the Connect. Awesome.
Yeah, the Weber Connect Smart Grilling Hub. And then I've got one more outdoor thing that's super cool. When you have a pool, you want to enjoy your pool, and cleaning it is a little bit less enjoyable than sitting out by it. So a helper robot like the Ape or Seagull Pro cordless pool cleaner is a definite must if you want to do more enjoying and less cleaning, because its navigation tech systematically cleans every inch of your pool floor, and it's powerful enough to even clean the walls. It literally climbs up the walls and cleans them, which makes it kind of a standout in this category. So it's going to remove the dirt, the leaves, the grime, anything else that's lurking on the bottom of your pool, and it's going to make sure the walls are nice and scrubbed too. So all you have to do is blow up a floaty, grab a cold drink, and relax. And even cooler, when it's done, it parks to the side, and then you just fish it out with a little included hook pole that you get with the product. You clean the nylon bag of all the debris that's in there, and you recharge it just like you would your cell phone, and then it's ready to clean again. So it's got a reusable nylon bag that captures all the gunk, and it's just a really self-sufficient, happy little robot that's going to do a job that I loathe to do. So I'd be happy to have this help.
Yeah, this is cool because I know our listeners who own pools are likely familiar with the bottom crawlers, if you will, but not ones that go up the sides. So that's kind of neat. As we wrap up, do you have any new apps that families can use?
Oh, I sure do. And I think parents of little ones are definitely going to want this. It's the Smart Dreams Bedtime Stories app, and it's a free iPhone app that uses generative AI, as in artificial intelligence. Now, get this. It writes you a unique bedtime story starring your child, including their favorite animals, places, and foods. And it does it in seconds. So your kid can just kind of dial up, I want it to be about this, this, and this. And then not only do they get a unique bedtime story in seconds, but they get illustrations as well. So it's this really beautiful thing. It's aggressively filtered for kids' safety. So parents should know that it's, not of concern. And you can create a new story each night, limited only by their imagination. And you know that stories that are as engaging as this about your child themselves are going to definitely make them want to read more. So it's just, a really cool product. And, AI is here. And so just a really cool application of it for parents who want to get their kids to bed.
Wow. Awesome. Yeah. So smartdreams.ai. I'm looking at an example of an excerpt from a custom made story with an illustration. It says, once upon a time in a dark and damp forest, there lived a young girl named Nala. She was just 5 years old and she loved to explore the forest with her clumsy canine by her side. And it looks great. Just a heads up to our listeners, it's available for the iPhone or iPad. Where can we go for more info on all the items that you've shared with us today?
So for everything I covered, plus links to all of these great products, you can always go to inthenews.tv.
All right, inthenews.tv. Always a pleasure, Carley. Have a fantastic rest of your spring, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
It was lovely to talk to you. Thanks, Mark.
A huge thank you to Visa for your support on Tech It Out. We cover cybersecurity a lot on this weekly show and how you can best protect yourself in the digital age, even if you're not super tech savvy. And one huge part of this solution is securely shopping online. So thank you to Visa for securing transactions, protecting the customer and the business, frankly. You can head over to visa.com/security to learn more. That's visa.com/security. All the best, everyone. Hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. And I look forward to catching up with you next weekend for another brand new episode of Tech It Out. Be well, everyone. Take care. Ciao for now.